Okay then, I'm going to do these 8 sketches here. We haven't done much work on quadratics and drawing quadratics, but basically, if you have a quadratic ax squared plus bx plus c, then if a is positive, it's going to be a U-shaped curve, like so. Could be anywhere. When that equals 0 is these root values here. So you can see that a U-shaped curve like that can cut it in 2 places, can't it? And you've got 2 roots. You can also cut it in 1 place, like an example is here, or it can cut the 0 line, y equals 0 line, no places at all. So this can have 2 roots here, illustrated here, 1 root here. They're actually coincident roots where the 2 coincide into 1 point. And then when it's above the line, y equals 0, this will never have a solution for this equals 0. So that's customarily the way it is with these quadratics, right? That's when a is positive. If a is negative, then basically the dominant term is a negative, so you end up with n-shaped curves. And they could either have 2 roots, 1 root, or no roots. Yeah? So that's when a is negative. So if you remember those key things and look for the roots and see where it cuts the axes, or if it cuts it or not, then that's generally the most of the information you really need to draw the sketch. So the first one is y equals x squared. If you put 0 in for x, you get 0 in for y. It's positive, lots of x squared, so it's a U-shaped curve. It's always positive, so it's going to be above the axis, and it's only 0 here, and it comes back up. So that's that shape there. It's a U-shaped curve going through this single root point here. Because when you put x squared equals 0, there's only 1 root, isn't there? Y equals 2x squared, well, it's going to be the same in principle, but it's going to be twice the values of these y values, isn't it? So it's going to go up steeper, a lot steeper, and come down to 0, because 2 lots of 0 are 0. So that's y equals 2x squared. Y equals a half x squared, well, that's going to be half of these y values, so the heights are going to be half the heights. So it's going to be flatter. So you draw a flatter curve. There we go. And then number 4, x plus 1 squared. You can see it looks like this in principle, very similar, but it's shifted. It's shifted along. So how does this shift affect the curve then? Well, if you put in x is minus 1, you'll get the 0 point, won't you? 0 value for y occurs when x is minus 1, isn't it? Because this would be 0. So when x is minus 1, the y value is 0. So that's the coordinate. So it's going to be this curve in principle, just drawn again, but with the actual bottom point going through there. So that's that curve. X minus 1 then, how does that look? Well, again, in principle it's the same as this in form, but when is y 0? Well, it's 0 when x is 1, so that moves it to there, doesn't it? So when x is 1, put that in, you get 0 squared is 0, so that's the coordinate, and it's the same curve. And when x is 0, minus 1 squared is 1, so this point here is 1, the height. So you could put that in there if you wished. Don't really need to. So that's that one. Y equals x squared plus 3. So it's that curve here, and then add 3 units to all the heights. So instead of going through 0, you add 3 to that point, and all the other points you add 3, so it goes up, shifts up by 3 units. Same curve, and that's the 3. And that would be the coordinate when x is 0, y is 3. That's that one. And then the next one, y equals x plus 1 squared plus 3. See this curve here that was shifted back 1 unit? It's the same as this one here, but we just add 3 to all these heights. So instead of going through there, it goes through here, doesn't it? 3 up. And it's the same curve. And that height is 3, and this point here is minus 1, so the coordinate is minus 1, 3. Okay, and then the next one, y equals x squared minus 3x. minus 4. Let's factorize this. X. 4 ones. Let's try 4 ones. So that's a difference of 3. If we need a difference of minus 3, if we put that to be the minus and that to be the plus. So we can see that y equals 0 when x is minus 1. And also y equals 0 when x is 4. So there's our two roots. This is positive, so it's a U-shaped curve going through these two roots. Like so. And you could get this point easy if you wanted by just putting x equals 0 in here. And you get minus 4. So you could also label that height there as minus 4 if you wanted. That's how low it goes through the y-axis there. It's not the lowest point because it dips a bit lower here, doesn't it? And then it goes back up. But that's the point on the y-axis, which isn't that important. There we go. So that's done. That's question 11. Just a little summary of curve sketching, which we haven't done a lot of.